Shukran sana kwa mazungumzo hayo, na bila shaka kuna wataalam katika studio yetu hii ambao watajibu maswali ambayo yameulizwa pale, na tuna Profesa Charles Ong'odo ambaye anasimamia KICD ambayo ndio yasimamia masuala ya mtaala wa elimu, na pia tuna Dr. Davis Njagere ambaye anasimamia baraza la mitihani hapa nchini NEC, atajibu maswali kuhusiana na masuala ya kuwatahini wanafunzi wetu, na pia tunaye Dr. Ruben Ntamburi ambaye anasimamia masuala ya ubora wa elimu katika tume ya kuajiri walimu nchini TSC, na amerejea pia studioni Dr. Elias Abdi. Professor Charles Ong'odo kutoka KICD, labda tuanze pale katika swala la kupunguza idadi ya masomo. Ni msingi upi ulitumika pale? Ni baadhi ya masuala yapi ambayo mliangalia ndipo mkasema tutapunguza masomo haya kutoka 14 hadi 9? Haya 6 ambayo yanaondolewa, mlitumia criteria gani kuyaondoa?
Asante sana Lincoln. Utaniruhusu ni kujibu kwa lugha ya
Kiswahili,
Kiingereza. Hilo ndio lugha nilisomea nikalipia.
Lugha unaizungumza iko sawa sana, inaeleweka vizuri sana.
Itaendelea,
wazazi wakuelewe vizuri.
KICD was represented in the Presidential Working Party for Education Reforms, and therefore we were part of the conversation from the beginning. We went round with the party and listened to stakeholders in different parts of the country. And one of the things that emerged, which we could not close our ears to, was that because of the too many learning areas, the parents were feeling that CBC was expensive. And so one of the reasons of addressing the complaint or the perception of the cost of living was to rationalize the learning areas. Another issue that arose, as I heard Professor Odote mention earlier, was that learners were beginning to say, and some teachers, that there was an overload. They were overloaded and therefore needed a little more time to rest, or a few more breaks. So how did we arrive at the numbers? If you look at the report of the Presidential Working Party, it says KICD should rationalize the learning areas. It proceeds to say should look at the scope and the sequence and the curriculum designs. So what we are doing, just to assure the country, is not scrapping, is not killing learning areas as some people have said. We are rationalizing. One of the ways we are doing this is looking at some learning areas which have related strands and sub-strands, and saying this could be accommodated within one learning area. And I'll give you some examples. You look at a learning area at junior school, like health education, and then you say there's a lot of overlap between some of the issues that we are dealing with in health education that could be accommodated within the broader area of science. And that doesn't mean there was a mistake in coming up with health education, because when you are coming at the learning area, you think about identity, you are thinking about prominence, you are thinking about consistency with what the rest of the world is doing. I'll give you a second example and then we leave there. The second example would be an area like life skills, where when you now look at it a bit more keenly, then you realize that some of the areas could be accommodated within what we call social studies. And that goes on for the lower primary, upper primary and junior school.
Ikidogo pale ndipo Kahindi Muli anaingilia.
Yes.
Na ameuliza swali kwamba mnapopunguza haya masomo katika levels ambazo umezizungumzia pale, unamwachia mwanafunzi na nafasi chache sana za kuweza kufanya uamuzi kama angependa kwenda katika masuala ya sayansi, sanaa, social science na kadhalika. Hivi ingekuwa ni afadhali kulingana na Kahindi Muli tuwe na masomo mengi zaidi katika ngazi hii, ndipo iwe rahisi kwa mwanafunzi kuchagua?
Wacha niseme hatupunguzi. Ile tunafanya ni kuchukua strand kutoka kwa somo lingine na kuweka kwa somo lingine, making sure that the critical competencies that the learners are supposed to have are not lost, making sure that we have still given the learners adequate exposure to be able to choose the specific pathways they want to go to. Let me give you a small example. Learning areas mutate. So if you look at pre-primary level, we have only 5. It is from those 5 that they mutate to what has been suggested now to be 8. From those 8, they go to 9. So what we are calling science, for example, in junior school, if you go to senior school, we shall get biology out of it. We shall get chemistry out of it. We shall get physics out of it. So it means that at the junior school, we must make sure that we have put all those elements so that even as the learner moves to senior school and now meets biology, they are not completely surprised. Okay. They have experienced some parts of it at that level. So that care has been taken to ensure that the competencies, the values, and even the learner-centered pedagogies that CBC anticipates have been taken care of.
All right, let's talk about the retooling of